Good evening and welcome down to this evening edition of Weather Down in Muletown. As always, this is your captain speaking. Not on video because I've got a lot going on this evening, so we'll just hop into the specifics of everything. Running a little bit late, sorry about that. Everybody popped up some explanations there on Facebook. I'm doing the Mr. Mom things. Miss C had to work this evening, so I've been trying to herd cats and do the 4 kiddo thing in her absence. Get everybody ready for bed. Asthma problems fixed. Personal psychologist. All that fun stuff if you have kids. So, and if you don't, like I said, I'm trying to imagine herding cats backwards, and then that's about right. Or putting tires on a car going down the road. So, either or of those situations will probably work. So, as you see, around the mid-state area, nothing going on. Got some ground clutter showing up from the Nashville radar site there. So absolutely nothing going on in Murray County. So just kind of ignore that a little bit. But clear skies all the way around, pretty much the same way throughout most of the mid-state. Do have some rain down here by Chattanooga, down in that area. But other than that, pretty clear as far as everything goes. Let me make sure, again, because I haven't had much of a chance to get much of anything ready. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to that. So currently it is 76 degrees live from Sunnyside. Gentle breeze about 2 miles an hour out of the south right now. Average about 3, peak gust about 8 today, so not too bad there. Pressure's currently 29.74 inches of mercury and steady. Dew point 71. Heat index right now is about 77. No measurable rainfall for today, and no lightning strikes in the area. So, good news as far as that goes. I think this is issued 7 May. Okay, I did all this morning, y'all, because I had intentions of going live at like 8 or 9 this morning, and it never materialized. Again, just because I've been running things on my own and doing all of those fun things. So tonight, low of about 68, so not too far from that. And then again, probably most everywhere has got a slight chance at least of seeing some showers or thunderstorms overnight. The overnight hours tonight, we'll go into that a little bit more. I'll show you some of the models and talk about that as we go. But of course, obviously the big thing we want to talk about is Wednesday. So have about 86. Better chance, pretty much everybody, I would say, especially up there towards the northwest corner of the state around Clarksville or Waverly, pretty much everybody else has got at least an 80 to 100% chance to see some thunderstorm activity at some point tomorrow in most of all of mid-Tennessee. I know somebody's going to ask me, hey, is it going to rain on Bob's Road in Culleoka at, 2 p.m.? And I wish I could tell you. If I ever get that good at it, we will pool our money up together and we will go play the lottery. Deal? Because I don't know anybody that's that good at predicting the future, and that's basically just what all this boils down to at times. So, best educated guess. But again, Today was the lesser day of the severe chances that we were looking at as far as all of those things went. So, not really much of anything did go on today, and it's pretty much as expected. So we're in the 1 out of 5. Don't get too twisted up on the 1 out of 5, because I've seen violent long track tornadoes happen on a 2 out of 5. So don't get too twisted up on that. That's just kind of the categories that we generally use to define what may be expected in a general area. So with the marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, and high, and you can see those there at the bottom. But basically, right now we're in that round 2 window, the after 9 p.m. into early Wednesday a.m. And once we get into the models, you'll see what I'm talking about. The coverage from the storms, like I said, it's going to be mostly off and on. And if you've been paying attention and watching my previous posts on Facebook today, it may be on and off for pretty much the next 24 hours. So we look tonight to get scattered showers and thunderstorms off and on all night on into the early Wednesday AM hours, and then that will continue on into the daytime hours on Wednesday AM, which is kind of roughly when our severe window will open, provided nothing, just rapidly, grossly changes between now and then. And then around noonish, 11, 1ish, I've seen kind of just that kind of 3-hour span. Don't nail me to that just exactly yet as far as the time frame goes, but that's looking like that's probably going to be the next opening for like when the severe stuff gets here. I keep saying this, and I think this is probably not going to be the case, but if the storms that are coming through early in the day tomorrow, so far the model guidance suggests that they could be like individual cells, but if our environment's ripe enough, those could become discrete cells and then go into supercell mode. If those storms just right off the bat start going crazy, I think we're going to have problems, because that's going to kind of tell us what our atmosphere is like, and if it's that hyper conducive to the supercellular activity or the wind shear, storms being able to pulse up real quick like that and go be able to rotate when we call it into a mesocyclone, that would be a problem. So I think that's going to set the tone for the day. Again, if I had to bet money on it, I don't think that will happen. There's only a couple of models that are suggesting it, and some of the more reasonable, kind of steadier-handed models I've backed off of that a little bit. So, but that will tell the tale. There's that beginning portion that may come to pass out of our bag of tricks, and some things that may not, right there. And I would say probably maybe as early as 8 or 9, but probably not really until about 10 or 11. But then between, for sure, 10 and 2 p.m., I would say, is when kind of that window is going to open. And then there will be another window opening later on in the evening. So probably between 10 p.m. and midnight right now is the best guess from the last model runs I've been looking at. It's been a little bit of a moving target, and it may continue to be as far as that goes. So again, here is the outlook for today. You see we're in the marginal risk there. Realized I was staring at one slide too long and talking. So yeah, here's what we're looking at Wednesday. So this is where I wanted to go ahead and swap. So definitely going to be, looks to be the most impactful day out of them all. Round 1, again, late morning through the afternoon. And then round 2, that says after sunset, lasting to Thursday morning. It's looking like right now, if everything holds true, it's going to be well after dark. So probably around 10 p.m. to midnight, maybe a little after even, because it's been kind of, that's been the moving target part, is because it's been on the back end of things as far as the time frame and the timeline when everything's coming through. So again, damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, large hail for both time periods. That says 1.5 inch. SPC says 2+ inch. Can't be ruled out. So again, take that for what it's worth. And then again, the few tornadoes possible, some could be strong. NWS defines a strong tornado as EF2 or greater. So yeah, and pretty much like we always harp on, always, especially with round 2 being overnight, have a way to wake you up, make a plan, make sure you got your ways to get notifications, warnings, watches, whatever. Go ahead and do all of that now. Figure out what you're going to do in case of blank, and just fill in as many blanks as you can. And if you do that enough, you will eventually run out of questions or things, and you will be just about as prepared as you can be. And of course, stay tuned to Weather Night and Mealtime, because we'll always hook you up with that hot, fresh information as soon as it comes out of the NWS. And again, they're just kind of a little bit more of a zoomed in map. Again, this was this morning when I got this. It's actually been altered a little bit more well within the enhanced risk, which is that 3 out of 5 that we've been talking about. Again, don't get too twisted up on that. Same goes for how I said we can have tornadoes, in a 2 out of 5 risk, a slight risk, we can have absolutely nothing come down out of a moderate or a high risk. That is all within the possibility. So just because we say, hey, this may go moderate, or hey, this, could go blah, 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 or there's a high risk in here, it's definitely something to pay attention to, but please, y'all, don't freak out. That's not what we're doing this for. So we're not going to blow any smoke up your butt, but we're not going to sugarcoat things either. So, it looks like most of my models that I've got loaded into here are going to be older stuff. So let me get some of this freshened up from what I was doing earlier. I'll go ahead and throw this up there because this is one thing that I also wanted to talk about. Again, not scaring folks, just pointing out what the models are leading us to and kind of looking at our ingredients. But we discussed this earlier on the page. So the SBC had just put this out when I saw that. It looks like that was about 12:45 today, our time. But the dotted or dashed red line there, whatever, is going to be the main area of concern for strong tornadoes. And I know it's a little bit hard to see, but that dashed red line goes pretty much through the center of Murray County. If you draw a line from like Williamsport, Hampshire, all the way over to just the north of Culleoka to 65, I mean, it's right down the middle. So I would say all of Murray County, that includes you. Same with the large hail there. So 2+ inch hail possible inside that green line, and we are within that one as well. So the thing that I want everybody to get the biggest chunk of is they keep moving us a little bit closer to the center, and the center is always where they're looking at. So if you see the NWS put out the high risk graphic or the moderate or the whatever else, the NWS says, hey, we're looking at this area, find the exact center of it, and that's pretty much going to be their concern. That's how they work. So they keep moving that area a little bit further to the south, and I'm not going to share the NATO cast, but it's been brought up to us, and I'm sure plenty of our weather-wise people have seen it. NATO cast is an AI-based model. I use AI sometimes myself. The camera that's looking at me right now that's not turned on is AI. Well, at least I hope it's not turned on. I mean, there's Google AI, there's all different kinds. I've got ChatGPT on my phone. I used it to write a resume. It's gotten me a job or two. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. It is a learning architecture, but it's fallible too. So don't get too twisted up in it. There's some of the other AI driven models that we use as well that we talk about. But I'd kind of just take that for what it is. So it's grain of salt. Again, these are $1 billion supercomputers. But it's still got to take it with a grain of salt. So let me finish grabbing up these couple of other slides that I wanted to talk about. I think I've got some and don't have the other half. Nope, I don't. So what we'll do, we'll do this as like another little sharing session like we did, I think, a couple times ago. I'll take y'all through my process since I really didn't have time to prep for this as much as I normally like to. Because again, I don't think anybody who's ever done anything like this can really appreciate, you know, how much goes into, hey, is the weather going to get bad tonight? And me being able to answer that with any kind of like certainty or sound like I know at all what the hell I'm talking about. So let's see. And again, for sure, go if you don't go like us, follow us, subscribe, whatever, as well on Twitter. We're there under @BadKarmaChasing, all one word. That's where I'll do a little bit more of my sciencey stuff at times. There's just different folks usually on Twitter, from my experience, but Twitter's really good for breaking news because if you know how to use it, you can do words and geographical searches or time frames and stuff, and it can be really good if you're trying to figure out what's happening right now. So I think we're mostly caught up. I just want to go through, I guess, the models then in that case. Let me look at the comment section real quick just to make sure because I still keep hearing them big monies going off, and I'm not ignoring y'all, I promise. Shout out to Andy. What's going on? What's going on? Kathy, praying it stays quiet tonight. It should, for the most part, I think. There may be some thunder boomers that are a little bit more angry or louder than the others, but I think for the most part, it will be okay. Mr. Johnny, what's going on, brother? Hope y'all are doing well. Same to you, Shelby. Kristen, sending the big money. Appreciate that. Same for you, Shelby. Helping us keep the lights on. Barbara, appreciating the great updates. We thank you as well, Mrs. Barbara. And I see Boppy's in here in the comments getting some of y'all too as well. So, Brandon, you are very welcome, brother. Very, very even. 2 varies. I even give you 3 varies. I'm feeling in a very, very, very generous mood. Debbie Cruz, thank you. Or Debbie Carnes, excuse me. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Colin says, McKinnon says, do you believe we will be upgraded to a moderate risk or high? I'd say that it's probably extremely unlikely that we will see a high risk. Extremely. Moderate is a possibility, but I think unless things just jump way off the cliff right off the bat tomorrow, we may not be in a moderate right off the bat in the first like day one outlook, or maybe even two, since that second round's coming in later on, like 10 o'clock. So I don't know that they'll go ahead and put us straight off in a moderate, but it would not surprise me at all to see a moderate risk up towards areas around like the Tennessee Kentucky line. They look like they're gonna get hammered again. I mean, just absolutely molly-whopped. I know I'm throwing out the southern words on all the new transplants, so apologize if you're just joining us recently here in Tennessee. You'll figure it out as you go. Just read lips for now. That's all I can tell you. But other than that, well, let me get my screen share and go up here, because I think we've got everybody shouted out and questions answered and so on, so forth, and etc. If you do have another question, go ahead and throw that in the chat right now. We'll come back around to it in just 1 minute. Here we go. All right, so again, don't pay attention to all my tabs up here. This is what I do. It's actually not too many. What have I got? 2, 4, 6, 7 tabs. It's actually not bad. So, all right. So this is the 00 Zulu HRRR model. It is running right now, so we'll have to wait just a little bit for it to probably get all the way done. But this is our 48-hour loop. So we'll look at the 23 first. So see, this starts out at 7 p.m. So we can kind of judge how good this one is or accurate it is, because it's already 8:30. So this is 8 p.m. That's about 9 p.m. So it looks similar to what we've got at the moment. Kind of. So, all right. But anyway, going through 10 p.m., midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's backed off some. So yeah, this actually doesn't show us really getting anything until tomorrow, more like well into tomorrow afternoon PM times. Interesting. Very interesting, because the last run of this I saw, it looked like we may get some severe thunderstorms overnight tonight, and then tomorrow may have the discrete cells, and it may not. Ooh, interesting. What's that say? Some of these have got some pretty good looking updrafts, so if I don't know, it's kind of hard to see it right there where it looks like a little balloon. You can kind of see it right there. That is a well, let me see. I'll make this bigger for y'all if nothing else. There we go. Just to control it with the keyboard, but yeah. See, oh, but I can't see my times now. There we go. Trying to make this so y'all can see it better. All right, so yeah, 6 p.m., 7. So it looks like some pretty decent storms in the vicinity around 6 or 7. Again, some pretty good looking updrafts there. You see those white cord, purple cord storms there, indicating that the model thinks that we could see some pretty heavy activity rolling through. And there's midnight, and then again, there's that main event coming through around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Pretty decent stuff rolling through then as well, from the look of it. And then, yeah, clearing out about daylight. Again, this is but one run of one single model, so there is that to take into consideration. So, is this, I'll give you a perfect example. This is what it was looking like this afternoon. So, it is up 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Yep. So here comes overnight hours, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. This is kind of what I was expecting. I was like, oh, man, I'm about to stay up all night again, and was dreading it. And again, just 6 a.m., pretty good storms right off the bat. 7 a.m., pretty good storms right off the bat. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. There's that noon break that we talked about. So this is what kind of what I was thinking may happen from earlier, because this is why we say the models they vary. They kind of change run to run. Some of them may agree that we're going to see some storms about 10 o'clock, but they may disagree as to far as the extent. And then some of them may say hey, we're going to get storms and they're going to be really really bad, and the other one says that's going to be sunny and 70. So that's just what we're doing. But you see right there, right at midnight tomorrow night, pretty rough looking line coming through there. And if that's how that ends up panning out, that's going to cause us some issues potentially. So, see, still not much better there. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., maybe some residual cells back behind there. And then again, clearing out about 5 or 6 a.m. So, same model, just 6 hours apart. So, that is how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. Make sure this is. That's why. Okay. One sec. So it's giving me gaps in there. We go. Look at that 0, 0 again. So yeah, it's got everything just kind of hanging out and holding off until pretty much PM time tomorrow. Maybe some stragglers come through before lunchtime, but that's it. That's a pretty big change from what it was, folks. For the better. Let me go ahead and specify that, so you don't see, like we said, you don't see really those storms being just present right off the bat, going through 7 a.m. tomorrow, 8 a.m. There's lunch. We don't see the same level of activity that we saw in the 18 Zulu run. So you see right here, we've got stuff just right off. Oops. One. 18 Zulu run. So you see right here is midnight, and we've got stuff off and on all throughout the night, and then 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We've got some pretty good storms ongoing in the area, so that may represent a change for the better. Still too early to say for sure, one way or the other, but so far it still is holding true. Looking like we could see some raw there. Strong storms, could be some gusty wind, large hail. We can have a look at some of our severe criteria. I'll have to back it out to regional though, so it'll take away the timestamps and the Columbia part. But for those geographically challenged folks, Columbia, Murray County is right there in the center of my little cursor crosshair thing. So right there. So draw a box around it. Right there is Columbia, Murray County. So, all right. All right, so this is a measurement of CAPE. So this is convective available potential energy, I think, or something like that. So this measures basically how much oomph the atmosphere has. And that looks like it's changed a decent bit to 136. That's pitiful. 124, so it's 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty pitiful. 0, 0, 0, so that's 7 p.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Yeah, that's pitiful. So that may have something to do with it. It looks like we may be losing some of our instability. So this is what we call Mule Cape, or most unstable Cape. It's going to be a little bit better, but it's not bad. So it's kind of middle of the road right there if you look at the scale at the bottom. So it's just short of 2,500 on the Cape. And the surface-based Cape just kind of measures how much of that is coming from the surface, so the ground, literally. As far as the heating from the daytime, moisture coming off, energy transfer. So not too bad. I get a little bit higher than the last one, so closer to about 3,000 on the K value, but Memphis is hovering at like 4,700. So, okay. Wind shear. So this is another one that is important if you want your severe weathers. So it's going through Wednesday. So it's morning. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I think this may have disappeared our morning version of the threat. But yeah, there comes that wind shear. So about 50 knots, low level. So that's not too bad. But I mean, it's nothing just crazy either. You see down here, the scale goes up to 70. So that is the 0 to 1 kilometer above the ground. So that's the low level shear. This will be the higher level shear. Not too bad, not too bad. And again, that may be having something to do with that too. So, storm relative helicity. This measures the twist that's kind of available for those storms when they get into the upper atmosphere. How much wind is blowing across the top of those storms, so they can kind of twist and shout, if you will. It's not bad, not bad. Yeah, most of these are not just overly impressive, but they're there. So that may kind of preclude us getting into any kind of higher risk scenario too as well. 3 or 400. That's a little bit better. So the 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity was looking kind of low, but the section above that, so the 0 to 3 kilometer, just the next little bit of the upper atmosphere above the ground, is showing a lot better, about 400 meters per second square. So that's getting towards the higher third end of the scale. So supercell composite, again, just measures surface-based conditions, composite indice on how well supercells may form, how well the updrafts may be tilted, and how easily they can just cause problems. That's actually not too bad of a reading either. That's a 22, so that's kind of getting on up there. Again, I'm trying to just remember what time we had the weather coming through, because again, all this has got to line up as well too. So, and then significant tornado parameter. Don't expect this to just be overly high. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Peaks a little bit there at the end. Goes up to a 4. So, I mean, that's not shabby at all. Some hot spots of up to almost 5. So I think that's, again, not just anything overly concerning, but some of these things that we would need to see for it to be something crazy or mean are there. So it's just gonna depend, and I hate saying that. I sound like a broken record, but that is just how it is sometimes in this biz. This one's not done yet. So let's have a look at this one. So this is just another model. This is based on the North America model, or the NAM. Similar to HRRR, as it updates pretty quickly and it is convection allowing. See, now so we flip-flopped. Okay. So on the previous runs, y'all, this one was being the one that I was telling you about that was kind of being more sheepish and being like, nah, bro. Now we've swapped HRRR, saying nothing overnight. Now we've got the NAM 3 kilometer showing, looks like I don't know if we could even call it a line, but like a broken segment of storms dropping through around the 4, 5, 6 o'clock area through the I-40 corridor, then dropping through Columbia, clearing out before lunch, about between 9 and lunch or so. And then here comes there's our big bad Kentucky line, Tennessee line storms. Nothing coming through. Yeah, and just the one line. Okay. Yeah, this was kind of suggesting this earlier too, that it was probably just going to be one line, and it may be later on, because this one actually doesn't have our main event getting here until about 4 or 5 in the morning. So we'll see what the new run of that looks like. I think this is a 48-hour run. Yeah, maybe a little something there around daylight. And then, yeah, it looks like not much else until later on in the evening. And then there's the main event. It's showing that about midnight, though. So again, these are just this the wide, wacky world of sports that we have to deal with when doing the forecasting in these things, because we can go off what the models are saying, but the models are all different saying. If there's 7 models you're looking at, they're probably going to tell you 9 different things at least. So again, this is what I do: is I just kind of go and just make a mental average of what they're saying, what they might happen, when it might happen, how much it might happen. And just going through and looking at the similarities, the differences, just taking an average and trying to find a middle of the road forecast, basically something to be able to tell y'all. So, yeah, that does kind of look a little concerning. If it goes down like that, we may get some supercells. Interesting. Because those kind of come up out of nowhere. Interesting. This is going to be right about daylight right there. And then, yeah, this is showing pretty much as soon as daylight gets here, we may have some storm development, which is that part A scenario that we did not want. Because some of these little blobs, this isn't obviously as high definition of radar, but some of those little blobs like that, those little individual cells, are what we don't want to see, because if our conditions are right and everything is feeling spunky for all of those type storms, when those individual cells come through here, if they're off by themselves, they get all that yummy, severe ingredients all to themselves. And nothing can starve them out or get in the way or anything else like that. And it makes them more easily to go and more apt to go supercellular, kind of similar to those. But this is going into the overnight hours. So there's daylight. No, excuse me, that was midnight. Sorry. Here comes daylight. And this one's showing similarly too that we may have some storms going on around daylight, but maybe a little bit further to our south. Pretty good little whipping line come through. If we have something coming through that starts to look like this, or starts to get that bowing motion like that, that is definitely indicative of high wind, because it's just like cracking a whip when you do that. So interesting. So lots of different possibilities as far as the scenarios go, and I don't want to keep y'all up too late. I'm not trying to talk about every obviously little possibility that could go down tomorrow, because just we don't have enough time. So just wanted to run y'all through some of this, show y'all some things, explain some of my thought process to you all, bask you in all of that goodness and greatness and all that fun stuff. Like I told somebody earlier in the comment section, I was like, well, welcome to the inside of my mind. It's a real weird place, and don't feed the animals, but have a good time. So interesting. And I'm hearing that big money in my ear too, y'all. I promise. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shout y'all out in just one second. I'm just trying to get to these last couple of models and see. Yeah, this may be actually that would be a kind of a crappy looking scenario. Looks like those are gonna pull a bunch of storms into it. But yeah, overall, don't really just see anything just overly concerning. As far as the let's see, yeah, okay, so that one's done running. So let's have a look at it now. I'll go back to our local view there. Make it as big as I can for y'all. So yeah, there's midnight. 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So we might get some misses or some brushes or near misses between 3 to 5, but it's looking like we're not going to get as much as originally thought, according to the HRR. Again, this is just a model. You've seen all the other ones doing something completely different. Now you kind of know a little bit of the pain that is my existence this time of year, trying to figure out which one of these is right, what it's going to do, and when. So But the biggest things I want all of you to get out of this is tomorrow will likely be an all hazards day. So remember what that means: wind, hail, lightning, flooding, tornadoes, all of it. So I want you all to at least get that much. And just make sure you have a plan for the family and friends, work, kids, whatever. So whatever you got going on tomorrow, let the family know what everybody's assignment is, job is, plan is, whatever you want to call it. So um, everybody can be on the same page and ready to go if the need arises. Of course, stock your safe space if you've got an alternate safe space, like you're going to shelter with a buddy or you're going somewhere. I'll go ahead and call them tomorrow once things start to get gnarly, if they do get gnarly. Right off the rip at the beginning of the day, usual rule of thumb is you don't want to be about more than 15 or 20 minutes away from your safe space. So if that is another place, you want to take that into consideration. Um, schools, everybody always asks about schools. Y'all, a long time ago, I gave up trying to figure out what the school systems were going to do, especially Murray County. No offense if there's anybody, teachers or anybody watching or whatever. Uh, Great school system and stuff. I love sending my kids to Woodard, but I hated it. I lived here all my life, went to school here, so it is what it is. But anyway, Jennifer, thank you for that very much. But yeah, like I said, I gave up a long time ago trying to figure out what they're going to do. So normally they'll usually wait as long as they can. It seems like, in previous times they used to do a really smart thing like consult me. um, but they current administration does not do that. So I stand ready to serve though if anybody is here listening in the director's office. Yeah, keep tagging your buddies and your friends. Yeah, Angel says she hates it. It's overnight. I'm right there with you. Right there. It makes my life harder. Can't chase anything. Makes it. I need to look this back up too because I was talking about this to a buddy of mine who lives up north now that doesn't have to worry about all this stuff anymore. But is originally from down here. The fatality rate. I want to say I remember seeing this in nighttime storms. I think just, all things being considered equal, um, I want to say that the fatality rate doubles when you take just like nighttime storms, daytime storms, and stack them in two different columns. Um, and when you take them and put them in off-season times, like when we have a nighttime event come through in October or something crazy like that, Super Tuesday 2008 in February, stuff like that, it makes it even worse. So definitely make sure you've got a way um, to get the warnings, the watches, whatever, because it is coming in overnight. And if you're going to be at work tomorrow, or if you work midnight, you're going to be asleep tomorrow daytime or whatever. Keep an eye on things tomorrow day, because again, it's kind of all up for grabs. So, the SPC update should come out about, I think it's 3 a.m. or something like that. Let me look. Ugh, sinus is killing me. I can tell something's coming in. All right. 06 Zulu is when the next day one outlook's coming out, and it's currently almost 02 Zulu. So about 4 more hours. What time is that? 1, 2. So yeah, about 2 hour time, I guess. The next SPC update should be out. I'm gonna try to set an alarm. If we're not gonna get any of the overnight storms, I'm gonna try to set an alarm and get some sleep because I'm feeling like we're gonna need it tomorrow, or we might anyway. No, I'm gonna be staying up tomorrow night for sure from the look of things. So, um, let me see. I don't think that they've done any other day 2 outlook since I've looked. No, 12:30. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I wanted to share this with you all because I did post part of this earlier, but I didn't actually kind of hammer this part home. So again, this is the 12:30 update from Storm Protection Center Day 2 update. So talking about Wednesday still. Blah, 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 blah. Kind of just paraphrasing here. If you want the full text of the update, you can go to spc.noaa.gov and you can see it. It's right there on the main page as far as the convective outlooks go, and you can read this yourself. And it's posted to the page too as well. A very moist, broad, warm sector is anticipated with surface dew points in the upper 60s, 70s already in place across much of the region. That's kind of where we're talking about, into with the ingredients being in place. Heating into the 80s degree Fahrenheit and a plume of steep mid-level lapse rates overspreading the region will aid in strong destabilization, with Cape values being 2,500 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. 40, 50 non-effective shear magnitudes, like we were talking about a minute ago. Organized convection is expected. So that's basically saying that the storms are going to be able to build, regenerate, die, regenerate, build, pulse, and go through their cycles. So convective mode may be somewhat messy with clusters / semi-discrete supercells and Boeing line segments possible. And that's basically the SPC saying they were seeing the same things that we've been talking about. So the convective mode may be somewhat messy is what we were talking about, to where that's dumbing it down. It's what we were talking about earlier, whether the storms came through as like supercells or semi-discrete cells, or they came through as a blob, basically with just clusters of storms. That would kind of tell us what was going on. And all three of those things, plus the Boeing line segment, like we talked about when it starts to look like a whip and it gets that kind of whip motion to it, all three are possible tomorrow at different times of the day. So this is the thing, though. So next sentence, little inhibition is expected across the warm sector, so thunderstorm coverage could be quite widespread. And that's saying that basically that there is nothing to stop the storms. There's no inhibition. There's not a cap aloft in the atmosphere that's going to hold those storms down, not let them get that tall updraft and break through. It's not looking like any of that is going to be in place. So initial thunderstorm development is likely during the morning near the triple point in Missouri. Most guidance suggests this activity would quickly go upscale eastward, advancing bow line across Missouri. More semi-discrete convection is anticipated by midday early in the vicinity of the warm front across Illinois, western Kentucky, spreading eastward with time across Indiana, Kentucky, southern Ohio, and Tennessee. Additional storms are expected in mid to late afternoon along the cold front across Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas. Large to very large hail will be possible, 2 to 3 inch diameter. Will be possible with more cellular convection given the very large instability. For anybody just wondering in the back of their mind right now, trying to think of what that's like, 3 inches is roughly tennis ball. So 2-inch golf ball, roughly, I think it's like an inch 7.5, inch 8, something like that. So roughly golf ball, tennis ball size hail. Large hail will be possible with more cellular convection, giving very large instability, steep mid-level lapse rates. That tornado or the NATOcast or whatever thing, that's one of the things it was talking about, the steep level lapse rates. How quickly air can rise, that warm air, when you've got a big temperature gradient going up and you've got that updraft trying to pull cold air down, warm air gets sucked up, kind of gets stuck in that kind of up and down, and that's how you get your updraft tilted and kind of going towards the ground to produce a funnel, then eventually a tornado. One of these days I'm going to get good at animation so I can show you all what I'm talking about. One of these days and not have to like draw stick figures and stuff. But one of these days I'm going to get good at computer animation and show you what I'm talking about. Tornado potential is also apparent given favorable low-level shear, like we talked about. As is evident in large curved 0 to 3 kilometer forecast hotographs. Hotographs are the one things that I hate. I probably feel the same way about hotographs as you all do about weather in general. I cannot read them, don't understand them. Looks like a bunch of squiggly lines to me, and that's something that I've got to get better at. But it's on my to-do list. Mesovortex tornado potential is also accompanying any bows and line structures as well. So basically that's saying that there could be embedded tornadoes if we do have any lines or bowing segments that do form. So Furthermore, potentially widespread, damaging and or severe winds appear possible, especially if strong enough cold pools can be generated within linear segments. Given little inhibition across the region and somewhat nebulous large-scale forcing, is the word of the day. Convective evolution is somewhat uncertain. Widespread convection all at once versus semi-discrete convection growing upscale with time. Again, that's literally what we talked about earlier. The all at once versus, kind of building up discrete cells into something over time. Corridor of higher probability, severe may develop from southeast Missouri, southern Illinois into western Kentucky. However, confidence is too low at this time for a categorical upgrade. So that's what we were talking about, where I think that it may be further up to our northwest when and if there is an enhancement made to the risk area. But then I saw this. Like I said, it was literally about 10 minutes apart because I was texting Boppy and going, hey, did you see that new update they just put out? Yeah, I didn't expect that. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, blah, 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 blah. And then, boom, there's this with the most favorable area for strong tornadoes. And we're right there in the middle of it. So, I'd kind of like, not so much on the NATO cast. Like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. And then read the SPC outlook. I was like, okay, yeah, it looks like it's we're probably more to our northwest. But now, guys, like I said, I don't know. That line literally goes right through the middle of Murray County. So, it's the best guess at this point. Just been doing this for going on 26 years. Best educated guess. So, but yeah, the schools, I have no idea. I keep seeing that in the comments, and I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. And yes, Jeff, you are correct. Carolyn, I did say that does not look good. Supercell ingredients are there. They're not just like, falling out of the shopping cart there, but we got some stuff in the buggy. Jennifer, I can't remember if I told you thank you or not for the big money, but if I didn't, thank you very, very much for the big money. TJ says, do you expect tomorrow evening to be worse? Probably, unless it starts getting just right out of the gate, just nuts. I think tomorrow will be worse. If it starts getting right out of the gate nuts, all bets are off. Kathy says, so basically around daylight tomorrow and then tomorrow night. Yeah, so that's looking, it's literally possible from now, basically for the next 24 hours. So, off and on, most everybody in the entire state will see some kind of precip between now and I'd say the next 24 to 36 hours, for sure. I think the question now, after having looking at the latest models that have been percolating and stuff since I've been doing band concerts and kids and bites and breathing treatments and stuff, I think probably it looks like it's trying to trend away from the early morning stuff and kind of go more towards the afternoon stuff, but I wouldn't let the guard down just yet. Until proven otherwise, I would just assume from basically around daylight tomorrow and then tomorrow night into Thursday daylight as well. Mercedes, thank you for that big money as well. Brandon, you stay safe too, brother. You may be going through some of those, so just depending on where you got to go to work, brother, be careful driving on your way in. It takes what is it, like a 1/16 of an inch of water to hydroplane on bald tires at 55 miles an hour or something like that. It's crazy. So yeah, always hydroplaning freaked me out. I mean, I drive fast. I used to get paid to drive fast. Like professionally trained how to do the we use and drive fast. But hydroplaning still always freaked me out, so. Natalie says, got a field trip tomorrow from Columbia to Belmont, Nashville. Bunch of kids on a bus not feeling good about it. Yep, I can't say I blame you there, Natalie, at all. Buses or any large profile vehicles like that generally don't like the wind because it's like driving a billboard. That makes sense. Monique says which schools would let us know either way. Yep, I feel you. I think they should like have to do it the night before, like by law. Claire says, "Are you saying nothing overly concerning for tonight or tomorrow?" No, 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 not at all. As far as like all our severe ingredients, it wasn't anything overly concerning. Like I'm not saying hey, like tomorrow's going to be high risk and it's going to be some Tuscaloosa ish, just like horrible death and destruction. It's not like that. There does appear to be right now. Again, these are all models and projections and predictions and supercomputers, and can't say that enough. Always, 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 always. The models are saying that we should have that ample instability, the ingredients, the convection, the wind shear, the lapse rates, and stuff like that. Air getting sucked up. So yeah, it's definitely that it's not unconcerning. Yeah, it's quite the opposite. So if it was unconcerning, we wouldn't be beating it into the ground as much as we are at the moment. Just because we want y'all to all be safe. So, and again, I apologize, y'all. I'm getting like eight notifications per second squared again, and it's like literally updating it before I can get them all reacted to and seen. I think Boppy's in here. And she's trying to get them, but it's literally I'm getting so many messages and so many reactions and stuff that it's just pushing them up before I can see them. So I apologize, y'all. Well, I'm here in the producer window. It only lets me see so much, but I'll try to go through and get everybody on the back end once we get off. I promise. Hello, Debbie. Hope you are doing well. Viola lives in Robertson County, Tennessee, near the Kentucky border. She wants to know, will it be more rough there? I would say it is very possible. So it's going to be rougher up there for you than it is going to be for us down here in Middletown. I would put money on that, almost certainly. So, I think it's probably going to be a little bit more worse up to your north. So, say around like Paducah, I think like that area of Kentucky, Paducah, Hoptown, maybe. Let me see up here towards. There's nothing up here. Owensboro, I guess. There's not much else up there in that part of Kentucky to reference, but like up around this part of Kentucky, I think is going to have it worse. But yeah, I've seen just some projections and some models of some pretty nasty storms rolling right through here along the border area of Viola. So I would definitely be careful up there along the Kentucky border for sure. So if they have not upgraded it yet, that will come out. That's what we were just discussing just a second ago. The day one update will come out at like 2 a.m. right about that Central Time. So we get to sit on our thumbs and guess basically until then. B says is McMinnville in the path? Yes. So pretty much everywhere in Middle Tennessee, B is gonna be under this threat. So, let me pull that back up again real quick. So orange area there in the center is that 3 out of 5, the enhanced risk area. That yellow that surrounds it there, like the angry avocado, is our slight risk. So 2, and then the dark green is our 1, our marginal risk, and then the light green there is what we call like the marginal line, the thunderstorm line. So all of the state of Tennessee, pretty much, other than like Chattanooga and the very just like far, far, far eastern and southeastern counties, like Hamilton, aren't in it. Pretty much everybody else is in the state of Tennessee. Let me get you that. It's probably easier to see. Yeah, so this is the old one, so don't pay attention to the date up there at the top and the time and everything. But it's that's where everything stands as of right now. So you can see pretty much. No, that's the non-updated one. Dadgummit, I'm gonna have to get the. Yeah, I'd get an F for preparation today. So yeah, don't pay attention to that, y'all. That is not the newest, most updated one. I have a new feature. It's one of the things I've been working on. One of the many things to where we can add that stuff straight in here now. So for tomorrow, when the day one SPC Outlook drops, we'll be able to see it bang right there on our screen, ready to go. I've got several things new and exciting that we are talking about getting fully rolled out. So yeah, exciting things coming. Stay tuned as always. Carolyn wants to know, is Summertown going to get bad? Summertown is in the middle of Middle Tennessee, and it's pretty much all day, same thing. So 24-hour, 36-hour span from right now, just depending on if we get anything overnight. Tomorrow, all day. So maybe a little bit for the lesser side chance in the morning, and then again after like bedtime hours around 10ish, maybe midnight-ish for the second round. That may be the worst of the two rounds. Yep, like Seth says, don't be scared, be prepared. We don't want to ever blow smoke up your butt, but we even less want to sugarcoat things and you not have us and have you not take us seriously. So we're never going to clickbait you and scare you into clicking stuff or anything like that, or tell you, oh my God, the Yellowstone volcano is going to blow up and we're all going to die. It's not going to be like that. That's not us. It's not our style. We've never been like that. But one of the reasons why we are not like that is because we want to be able to save that for when we need it, or when I tell you, hey, there's a big freaking tornado coming down the bypass right now, y'all. Y'all need to, and that way, I'm not kidding you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That if I say, like, go dig a hole and get in it, do it. So, we reserve that right for when we need it. I've done that once in my history, and we were talking about that the last live stream we did, and I cannot find those screenshots because I used to have them on my phone, but I think they went kaput when I lost Bad Karma page. So only ever gone off the reservation one time, but I stand by it. It was worth it. Pussy says, what about the College Grove area? Gonna be about the same story, brother. Most everywhere in Middle Tennessee is gonna be on this same threat level and the same timing, pretty much. With it coming through in bands like that, with it being possibly like a group of storms, maybe some lines, and then some more storms, it's pretty much just gonna be an all-day thing. Or the threat window will be open all day anyway. Corey, what's the timing of the storms tomorrow? Again, hope you've been listening. Same thing everybody wants to know. And that's why I haven't put out anything just like concrete, solid, or anything like that. It's because there's not anything concrete, solid right now. So, hate to leave y'all hanging like that. But yeah, we've been trying to hit that moving target as far as the timing is going. And that's been what's screwing things up, I think. So. Camille says she wants some good thunderstorms, just not tornadoes. Right. I'm right there with you. I love a good, just raging thunderstorm. Haley says the same thing. Really hope a storm's bad and no tornadoes. I am right there with you. Although I kind of, now that I've been thinking about it, I would kind of like to see a cicada tornado off in a field by itself somewhere. But I got to thinking about that too, because I guess if it happened in like Hampshire or Williamsport, and I don't know why I'm picking on Western Marion County all of a sudden. But I was like, I got to thinking about that. I was like, well, I guess it could be a cicada nader. Just depends on how you throw the R on there. Cicada. It's like theater. If you're not from here, you're going to pronounce it theta, and everybody's going to know you're not from here. But if you are from here and you pronounce it theta, nobody's, going to really give you any like lip or any other second look. But if you pronounce it theater, you're an OG. I've lived here about 11 years. Heather got a really bad feeling about this storm, been on mine for days. It is going to be what it's going to be, Heather, I promise you. It is nothing that we can control. So there is literally no point in worrying about it. Definitely be prepared, but don't be scared. Lexington, Tennessee, Heather, you're going to have to... Is that the one that's Lafayette? Where is Lexington? You're going to have to refresh my memory. My geography, I've let slip. Where is Lexington? Either Boppy or Heather or... Jackson. Okay, Lexington, Jackson. So they're over here. Yeah, there we go. Lexington, Jackson. It's going to be pretty much about the same story. So, it's, I say for Middle Tennessee, but y'all are in that same threat area, basically, when it comes to the SPC Well, dadgummit. Hold on, let me just pull it back up. I thought I had that graphic here too, but I don't. Like I said, I get an F for being prepared for class today. So yeah, this one. So, let me turn on some counties. So again, Murray County right here, right in the middle of that enhanced risk. West Tennessee, it's all the same story. So the timing may be a little bit off for you all. But just to be completely real honest with you, I never really covered over that far in any of the pages I've ever done. So, bad karma or here. So, um, I would say, and I mean, it's not that we don't like you or gonna be mean to you or anything. We just the way we do our coverage, it's hyper local, so we try to get as much local on the ground support and feedback and stuff as we can, and that's why we've only really ever covered Murray County and the counties that touch it. Um, but if you private message me and remind me what we talked about, I can give you some solutions and some good pages. Possibly on Twitter. There is a county by county by county Twitter account. Usually for most counties in Tennessee, I know there are in Middle Tennessee, but I'm pretty sure that it works the same way in West, to where you have somebody that kind of like me that does what we do here, dedicated to every county. And we have one here as well too for all you Twitter folks that don't know or don't use Twitter. That is at Murray Severe Wix WX. They are good folks. We interact with them regularly. Again, just trying to make sure I got all the comments. So if you do have any, go ahead and throw them in there. Sorry, having to mute real quick. Hey, so it looks like some more school closings. What we got here? Looks like nobody around us whatsoever at all. Cannon, Clay, Cumberland, DeKalb, Macon, Jackson, Overton, Putnam, Trousdale, Van Buren, Warren, and White. So, according to Channel 4. We'll keep posting those as they go. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Glenda. I think the ash will probably just get us from Yellowstone. I would, if it's one of those, it's going to blow and it's going to do that. I think I would just assume be there to see it. Get a better view of it anyway. Yes, Debbie, plan on it being a mess whenever you decide to leave the house. Yes. As soon as you decide to leave, the bottom will fall out. Seth, yeah, Tornado Alley has basically worked its way over. Heather, he is correct. And I mean, and part of it is too that we live in a more connected society today. I mean, 50 years ago, all of the land around here was a whole lot more rural. There were no cell phones. People still had like party line telephones, stuff like that. So, um, the tree falls in the forest now more often, and somebody is around to hear it. So that is part of what's going on. You got people moving out from the suburbs and the cities into some of those more rural areas. So that is part of it too. There's more people there to see said tornado than there would have been, 40, 50 years ago. So that is part of it. But yeah, overall though, as far as like the intensity, especially down to our south, man, like the last couple of years, our last decade or two, like Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas have gotten some freaking doozies. So, Tuscaloosa comes to mind, Yazoo City, North Little Rock. I mean, there's lots of really big tornadoes in recent memory that come to mind. And it's all kind of, around this area. That F4 from Cookville, EF3 from Spring, Nashville, that one I was talking about when I went off the reservation. Issued my own tornado warning. Stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, it is in 20 or 30 years, it'll be a sure thing because we'll have more data to support it. But I think, I think that it is. They'll probably be talking about it in 50 to 100 years and is using it as a case study. But I think that it's correct in about the last 20, 30 years. It's been shifted further to the east, but the shift recently seems like it's gotten a little bit more precipitous, I guess would be the right word. We're picking up speed. Corey, we're expecting things to be possible to be bad pretty much all day. There's a kind of an open window in the beginning of the day, call it late morning into early afternoon, but the biggest one is going to be the second half of the day, probably after 10 p.m. You are very welcome as well, Heather. We appreciate you all as well, for sure. And like we tell you all the time, you are the wind beneath our wings, and we mean it. This is what we do. Done this for a long time, just because again, somebody would always ask me and my mom inevitably, "Hey, is the weather going to get bad later?" And well, once 4 dozen people ask you that, you start to think of like, how can I streamline this a little bit better? And that's what led us to this. So, we love doing it. It is a labor of love for sure. It's a lot of work at times, and I'll give you all the standard speech tomorrow. Like, hey, I'm not going to be mean to you, but I need y'all to help me help you tomorrow. So, uh, yep, Vince. Yeah, when we were kids, you still had to walk to school during tornadoes, and they had us go hang out in the hallway, and duck and cover like it's 1950 and the Russians are coming. Kath says she'd be all for a cicada nada if it sucked all these little horrible demons out of here. Now, we may be able to do something about that. Maybe we can suck them and drop them all off in, like, Florida or something. They've got enough creatures. I mean, they're not going to notice anymore. Jess is moving. Just had it. It's gone. I feel you, Jess. I feel that this doesn't bother me, but when it's 115 degrees in August, that's when I'll be ready to move. Those, not too bad. Storms, tornadoes, fall, even ice. It's okay. It's whatever. But man, 115 degrees, I'm out. I'm too subtropical for that. Yep, Fayetteville, yeah, has kind of been right in line, and it seems like that's where we usually get our doozies too. They come out of like the Highway 64 area, like Wayne County, like through Mount Pleasant is when we usually get our crazy ones. It comes from the southwest, not the straight out west. Seth, you get the gold star. You are correct. We are coming off of an El Nino, so gold star for Seth.
Giggity.
There's my quagmire. So we are coming off an El Nino. If you don't know what an El Nino or La Nina is, look it up. It is extremely fascinating. It's crazy how something on the other side of the world can affect the weather in little old podunk Columbia, Tennessee. Kate, did I miss something? I think I missed your original comment. 1 second. Uh, Oh, Kate, you're talking about the radar that we've got on the screen. Yeah, so sorry about that. So this I didn't see your original comment. So basically this is a map. I'll turn the radar off just a second so that way it's not even on there. So just a map. Are you from Tennessee originally, or are you completely brand new to Tennessee completely? I give you a second to respond on that one, but I don't know. I'll throw that out there if you're not. So 3 divisions of Tennessee: West, Middle, East. Columbia, obviously, right there. I keep it always pinned, so no matter how far zoomed out, you can always see where Columbia is. As we zoom in a little bit there, you can kind of see some of the other cities around roadways. I-65, the blue are the state highways, and then red, blue are U.S. highways, red, and some of the other ones are state roadways. So the little plus sign down there in Sunnyside is moi. And then let me turn the radar back on. So what this is showing right now is absolutely nothing. So, as someone so eloquently put it a second ago, the radar looks like a donut right here because that's where the radar initiates from. So if we look, we may be able to see it. Yeah, so it's a little hard to see, but you can. That's the radar dome right there. That's about the best resolution that I've got on here, but that's actually the radar dome right in there. That's the Weather Service office right on the edge of Old Hickory Lake. So when the radar shoots out, it shoots out in like a cone. So if you imagine kind of just poking a hole through a red solo cup and looking through it, that's kind of how it is. It fans out in a gigantic cone. And when the temperature drops, we can start to get fog and stuff like that. You can see the lines that are kind of projected through it right here. Those are buildings in downtown Nashville, more than likely. So again, it's really cool stuff. So Doppler, for a very, very, very long story short, the way it works. Let me drop my name off over here real quick so you can see. So over here on the left side of the screen, we have our scale. So what radar does is it's like playing Marco Polo. That's exactly what radar is. So it sends out a little Marco, and then based upon how long it takes and how big the polo is when it comes back, we can tell kind of what is out there. So we can get an idea of what size it is. Between the radar sweeps, which take about 8 minutes to go all the way around, we can kind of get a good idea of which direction it's going. And then every time that little cone goes up a couple of degrees, that we talked about our radar cone, so every time it goes up a couple of degrees in the air, we can see higher up in the storm. So, what it's doing right now is it's just basically picking up everything other than weather, and we call that like Virga or ground clutter. You hear me talk about radar beaming, and that's what these things are right here. You see like the little lines in it where it looks like it's shimmering out like sun rays. Those are likely buildings in downtown Nashville or something else blocking the radar reception. So, but again, crash course. That is how radar works. Very, very, very short version, but I hope you're paying attention. There will be a test later. And then basically, oh yeah, so that's what I was going to say. The scale over here, the higher the intensity of the return is measured out in a color scheme. So, for instance, down here with our storms in Georgia, blue and green is just really, really light rain. It may not even be raining on the blue. Again, with all this isn't rain. The yellows and the greens are the light to moderate rain, and then the reds and dark reds and stuff getting up into the pinks, purples, and blacks and whites all the way up there at the very top are extremely heavy rain or debris, like possibly debris from a tornado or hailstones. Those obviously all show up with a higher polo coming back to the Marco than just regular old rain drops. But hope that answers that question, Kate, and Vince, yours as well. Yep, you got it, Dana. Lined up in the hallway on your hands and knees, head up against the wall. Gotta love it. The Russians are coming. Ah, okay. Yeah, welcome, Kate. So, yeah, so we've got our three different slices of Tennessee there, and we live in the middle section. And that's literally what it's referred to. We don't really call it Central Tennessee or anything like that. It's always just a middle Tennessee. But we'll definitely try to go through some of the geography before we do this for stuff for people like Kate that are new here. We'll kind of reference some of the interstates and highways and things like that. And it's definitely good to learn those things and know where you are on a map and what's kind of in relation to you, what counties are immediately adjacent to you. So if if you live in Williamsport and we say, hey, tornado warning, Lewis County, you're going to be next. So it's always good to know. It surprises me how many completely grown people don't know where they live on a map. It's scary. At least it scares me. So, but I mean, I used to work at 911 and had to deal with people not knowing where they were either. So, luckily, GPS. But John, just joined. Sure you say when the worst part's going to be in our area. Yeah, so still a little up in the air. We may see some storms. The models are still fighting this one out tomorrow morning, like daylight to noonish time. Those have the potential to be possibly the worst, but I'd say the odds of them actually being the worst are more than nothing, but less than probable, we'll say. So it's going to be more than likely the latter half of the day into overnight Thursday. So probably like 10 to 2 ish a.m. right now. So 10 p.m. 2 a.m. Just kind of bookending there on a time frame to when it may start. And that's probably going to end up being the worst of it. But like I said, that's what we've been talking about back and forth. That's the big $1 million question. If things just start out of the gate off the rails and those initial storms that we get go supercellular and they just start getting in our atmosphere and rocking and rolling, that's probably going to be a litmus test for the days, how the day's going to go. So we'll be watching those for sure. Sorry, I'm getting more notifications. Kate, you are very welcome. Jennifer's freaking out. Jennifer, don't freak out. Yeah, Angel, I would say y'all can sleep peacefully tonight. I would have a way, you know what I'm going to say. I would have a way to get the warnings if one does happen to pop off. But let me look at the CISA. The O1 is done. See, O1 Zulu, HRR is done. Yeah, and it's saying the same thing. I mean, we may get some 2 to 5 a.m. storms. Now it's saying, but it's been back and forth on the AM storm. So I think, yeah, our best bet's probably going to be later on in the night tomorrow. And so it's got a little added back in there for tonight, but it doesn't look like it's anything major. But again, make sure that you've got that weather radio or your phone app or something, just in case. Emma, worst part expected to hit Murray probably tomorrow night. Probably. Rebecca, probably not too bad tonight. It's been a little back and forth. We were talking earlier today that we would probably see some storms, some strong to possibly severe overnight. But now most of the models have backed off of that eventuality, so we may not. It's looking like probably not, as closer and closer as it gets to the overnight time right now, and with us not seeing anything materializing so far. So just I feel you there. Luckily, my shepherds could not care less as far as the weather goes. Neither one of them have storm anxiety. I'm so very, 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 very glad, because I wouldn't want to share a closet with either one of them. My pups got really bad gas, and my male's too big and too squirrely. So, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that. Daniel Paul and Riverside, what's going on, brother? Nancy loves to fish Williamsport. I do too, but I would probably give it a pass tomorrow. Probably give it a pass. Thank you for your kind words, John Duncan. We appreciate you joining us as well. All right. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got for y'all. So we just got kind of just the local crowd in the comments. I'm surprised we still got 60 people on here. We were jumping up and down there for a while, like the 80s to 100, and we would drop down for a while, then we'd jump back up for a while, then we'd drop down for a while. So I intended this to be like a 20-minute video. Now that we've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes, I figure that is probably enough. Because, yeah, like Amanda said, it's definitely past my bedtime. I'm telling Daniel to go to bed. Ooh, it's past mine too. Baby girl got me up this morning with a nightmare or something at like 0300, 0330 or something like that. Got her smoothed back out in about 2 minutes. She just needed daddy. And that got all that solved. But then older baby girl woke up. My one that's my brittle asthmatic, and was was having issues, so I just decided to stay up at 4:30 this morning. So I've been up since 4:30. Uh, was thinking that it might happen again tonight, and really not looking forward to that. So I will take some sleep. You are very welcome, Jennifer. Always glad to help. Yeah, they're loud right now on Sunnyside too, Daniel. I've got a Bradford pair, and they apparently like those, and I didn't know that. And they're having a party out there in my Bradford pair. We heard them when we came in from band concert earlier. Dana says, "Are we expecting school closures in our area?" I would say it's probably fair to say that the general public are expecting them, but I don't know if the school administrators are expecting them. So, it's within the realm of possibility, but I'm gonna have to start seeing something probably scarier looking to me between now and daylight. Because right now I'm not seeing it. If the Storm Prediction Center comes out with like a moderate risk or something crazy, they may go ahead and do it out of the abundance of caution. But it's looking like a lot of the earlier in the day stuff may kind of have been pushed to the back burner or not be as intense as originally thought. I mean, like I said, that's just how some of the models are trending. Throwing that out there again, my big grain of salt. And if we get rid of them, like the majority of the early day into the midday threat, and the majority of it's gonna be after dark, yeah, I mean they probably won't be overly worried about canceling school at that point. If things look like they're gonna still like forego the morning storms, but get gnarly before like 3 p.m. or something like that before bus time, dismissal time. Hey, Tornado Watch. They still may do that. Again, just out of abundance of caution, but I'm going to probably have to start seeing some more scary stuff to say that I'm expecting, quote unquote, school closures. Because, again, I know how they are. Hey, Daniel, so was I. We had a sixth grader there, so we kind of got in and out very beginning of it and dipped in and out, and we was gone. And I was in the third row from the stage looking at my phone. Yeah, I don't see just really any just big breaking news updates or anything like that, other than they did, yeah, just issue that. No, they issued that like an hour ago. Why did that pop up? Bro, they issued that at 7 p.m. What did that just now pop up? Oh, because it was offline. That's no good. I need that to work tomorrow. Okay. So I thought I saw that earlier, but yeah, it looks like there's not anything new from the SPC at the moment. Still waiting and seeing. Let me check the Twitterverse real quick. And again, for everybody just joining us or who doesn't follow us, definitely go in and follow us on Twitter at Bad Karma Chasing. All one word. Bad karma, just like bad luck. Chasing, just like, chasing. Yeah, so I don't see. Oh, why is that so blurry? Because there's a really good picture of what I was talking about. I've got a map here that I'm going to retweet on our Twitter account for anybody who wants to know about that T-spotter thing and then the individual counties and stuff like that. It's a little blurry, so I'm going to see if I can find a better one. But yeah, it's so far, I think that's all I've got to pass along. Unless anybody's got anything else. go ahead and throw that in the comments or forever hold your peace. All right, guys. I think I'm just looking at all my old heads and my trusted peoples. That I like to get my information from, or that I trust. And yeah, it's looking like it's all pretty much, we've gone over that. Nothing else new to go over there. So I think that'll be about it. So let me make sure I am caught up. In the chat here. Kathy's internet is horrible. Get you some AT&T fiber if you got it, Kathy. They don't sponsor us or anything else like that. I've just got it. I've had their 1 gig per second, and then their 3 is what we got now, and it's amazing. I can stream and make a literal TV show in here while the kids are all watching Netflix or playing games or on the phones, tablets, laptops, whatever. Oh, sorry, y'all. Needed a drink there. Christopher asks, safe to say it's going to be a wet commute in the AM. I would say it's not safe to say. I would say probably 50-50 on the wet versus dry. That one is probably up in the air. Sammy, you've never seen the particular circle? What does that mean? When you mean the... Oh, just the blue circle where it is right now? Like the radar, how it's kind of like bloomed out. Yeah, it's literally, it's like I gave it away there. It's a bloom, or the plume, like you said. It's just where it's picking up like low clouds, fog, things like that, ground objects. You'll see every now and then. Like in Texas, is like a famous place for it. They have like bunches of bats and migratory birds and stuff like that. And like right around right around sunrise, you can see them like all kind of just fly out of caves, out of nowhere. I've seen like big like industrial accidents with fires and smoke and stuff get picked up on weather radar. So when they shot down the Chinese spy balloon over, was it Michigan or wherever it was, that got caught on radar. So all good stuff. Stacy, looks like tomorrow morning and then like after bedtime are going to be the two like time frames that we're looking at. So the morning one is less likely, but the after 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. one is going to be the more serious one, or the more threatening one, I guess would be better. Oh yeah, Kathy, yeah, definitely get rid of Spectrum. They suck. Kathy, I wouldn't be afraid to go to bed in Burwood. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a bumpy day, but I think Kentucky and areas up there are gonna have it worse than we're going to tomorrow. Yeah, Sammy. So yeah, that's what that is. It's just basically everything other than weather showing up. So that's what we were talking about just a second. If you're just joining us, Sammy, you can kind of see how it looks kind of like sun rays right here. See how there's like streaks in it or whatever. Those are more than likely buildings in Nashville that are obstructing it, or something else like that of the of the type. It's kind of that real thin streak through there. So, and then again, and on my end here, we can go and change the tilt. So instead of looking like horizontally across the horizon, we can go and look up a little bit, then up a little bit more, 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 and then up all the way to 6.4 degrees tilt until we can pretty much make that go away because we're not looking at the ground anymore. We're looking 6 degrees up in the sky. So, pretty neat. Yeah, and it's because a lot of folks will take their radar, their like the sensitivity down so it doesn't pick up that stuff. But I like to be able to see this because sometimes you can actually see the wind moving in the air because air is technically a fluid. Once you think of air as being like a fluid, storms make a whole lot more sense. So I know that's hard to wrap your mind around, but once you look at the way storms move and you think about throwing a rock in a pond, it's all the same. It's all the same, baby. All right. I think that's about all I've got, y'all. Again, don't want to take up any more of your precious time. You are very welcome, Miss Sammy. Always glad to have you on the stream as well. So, other than that, stay safe, stay updated. I'm gonna try to wake up and post the Outlook first thing when it gets dropped about 2 a.m. I can't make any promises again because I've been up way too long, like I said a minute ago already, and I will be up all daggum night tomorrow night too, probably. So, other than that, y'all, stay safe out there. Stay tuned. I should have those updates posted as soon as they come out of the National Weather Service or the SPC, whichever, either or. And then as soon as all of that stuff gets to where, again, I can kind of make some heads or tails of it and get a good battle plan worked up, I'll get that done and post it to the page. If it's real big news, I may go live like right off the bat first thing. If you don't catch it, that's fine. Just make sure you go back and watch it. If you see like, hey, we were live, you can get notified every time that we go live. I think somewhere in the settings on Facebook, somewhere in there. And if not, like I said, just go back and watch it because there's probably going to be some good info in it. If I do go live, there'll be a reason for it. So, other than that, yeah, that's all I got, folks. So, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Appreciate each one of y'all coming. Glad y'all got to see us. That's it. So, y'all be good. See y'all later, tomorrow, tonight, something, whatever. We'll see y'all.